sound.
As they hit the car?
Yes.
Did you hear glass shatter?
I did not.
You said that people were on the back of the car?
Yes.
Like on the bumper?
On the bumper.
Standing on it?
Standing on the bumper.
Bouncing up and down?
Bouncing up and down.
You could feel that inside the vehicle?
If someone's bouncing on the bumper, the car bounces. So
How
yes.
many people were on the back?
I can't put a number on it.
More than one?
I can't remember.
I'll allow.
You can't put a number on
No.
it. There were people on the passenger side as well at this point?
Once things got out of hand, yes.
Once things got out of hand, as you described it, in fact, the car was completely surrounded, right? People on all sides.
Yes.
At least 20 people at that point.
Yes.
Could have been more.
Could have.
And you said you were pretty scared.
I was.
What did you think those people were going to do to the car?
Objection calls for speculation.
Sustained.
What was scary about that to you?
You're 7 people trapped inside a car. People banging on it, throwing things at it, bouncing the car.
You weren't driving the car, right?
No,
You had no ability to make that car move, did you?
did not.
Why didn't you just get out the door and walk away from the vehicle at that point?
Because there was an individual right outside my window,
And what was that individual right outside your window doing?
banging on the car.
Banging on the door?
Yes.
How many people were on the passenger side at that point?
More than I could count.
People in front of the vehicle as well?
Yes.
And could you hear a rumbling sound of fists and feet kicking and punching the vehicle?
I wouldn't call it rumbling. I can't remember the exact sound, but you could definitely hear the car being hit.
Did anybody get on the front of the car and bounce up and down like they did on the back?
I don't believe so.
Did you see anybody reach into the driver's side of the vehicle?
No.
You didn't see anybody put their body into the driver's side of the vehicle?
I don't recall seeing any of that.
Do you recall any sort of struggle between the driver, Jack Snyder, and anybody from the group?
No, I was too focused on what was going on around me. I didn't have enough time or the attention to look in front of me.
You said at that point you were pretty scared and someone said go, right?
Someone within the car did.
Someone in the car said go.
Someone outside of the car wouldn't tell them to go.
I'm sorry?
Someone outside of the car wouldn't tell Jack Snyder to go.
Somebody outside the car would not tell Jack Snyder to go.
Yes, it would not make sense.
So somebody in the car said go, you felt the gas be hit, and the car starts going down the road, right?
Yes.
Did you have a sense of relief at that point?
I don't remember how I was feeling, but I was not happy.
Still scared?
Yes,
Terrified?
that's a good way to put it.
And you said towards the top of the photo you were shown, which showed the intersection of Laurel Glen Drive and Farmhouse Lane, the vehicle stopped, right?
It did.
And you saw on the Ring video people chasing the vehicle down there, correct?
That's what the video showed, yes.
Do you recall that?
I can't recall it. That's just a blank.
Just a blank.
Yes.
So you don't recall while the car was going down towards Farmhouse Lane that things were being thrown at the car?
I don't remember any of that.
You don't recall being chased?
I must have been in some sort of shock where that part is just a blur. All I remember is getting back on the curb.
Was that, could you identify yourself as one of those people who got out of the car there and sat on the curb?
I was within the 4 people that sat on the curb.
So you say you were within the 4 people. You saw in that video that some people get out of the car, but the car itself continued to move, correct?
That's what the video looked like, yes.
Did you get out of the car before it continued to move?
I can't recall that.
So you don't know if you were one of those people that initially got out before it moved?
No.
And when you got out of the car and you went and sat on the curb, where were you as far as using Exhibit 1 there behind you? Can you show us where you sat? If you still have the pointer there, that might be helpful.
I believe we're around this area.
Can the record reflect, Your Honor, that the witness is pointing to the area just in front of what has been identified before as 36 Laurel Glen.
Court will allow the record to reflect that information. Thank you.
And which side of the road did you sit on?
After driving away from the Rich household, I was on the right side of the road.
You were on the right side of the road. So you were closest to that house, 36 Laurel Glen Drive, as opposed to the other side of the road?
Yes, I can't put a number on the house, but I remember there was a house behind us.
Okay, and you were on the side where the house was, right?
Yes.
And who was there with you when you were there by that house?
Mackenzie, Demetrios, and Will.
So there's 4 of you there. How close are you to one another?
Pretty close.
As like you could reach out and touch all of them?
I probably could have.
And when you were there, where did the car go, the Pilot that was driven by Jack Snyder?
It went back towards the Rich household.
I'm sorry?
It went back towards the Rich household.
So immediately after you got out, the car turned around and went back?
The car was stationary.
So the car was stationary. Where was it when you were sitting on the curb?
I can't recall how far away it was, but it was within view.
It was within view?
Yes, it was.
Can you point out on Exhibit 1 there where that car was?
I cannot.
You can't.
No,
Do you see the intersection there on Laurel Glen and Farmhouse Lane?
I did.
Was it at the intersection?
I can't recall.
So you don't know if it was beyond that intersection?
I can't recall.
You can't recall how far away that car was.
No.
And while you were sitting on the curb, you told us that the cars moved some distance away, but you can't tell us how far away it was. But you did see some Shelton High kids come running up from the direction of 43 Laurel Glen. You recall that?
Yes.
How many kids were coming running up?
Can't put an exact number on it. I'd say less than 5.
Less than 5. Did you stay in this tight group of 4 throughout the course of while you were in front of that house, or did people split up a little bit?
I can't recall. They might have split up.
You told us before that you felt like you'd walked into a trap.
Sounds right.
And you said that you were sitting on the curb away from the car and you couldn't hear what was being said between the Shelton High kids and the other kids from St. Joe's, right?
I couldn't hear the exact words. You could obviously hear that they're talking. Can't make out the words. But yes, they were talking.
You said at first everything was cordial, right?
It was.
And then it escalated,
It did.
but you couldn't hear what was being said.
No,
And the car was still stationary at that point?
it was.
You don't know how far away it was?
Nope.
You didn't see any fighting going on between those groups?
I did not.
Did you ever see Mr. Valle over, if you're looking at Exhibit 1, just before the house where you've described yourself as sitting, you see there's an area where there are some woods or some bushes there?
Yes.
Did you ever see Mr. Valle in that area?
If you don't mind, are you talking about this area over here?
No, sir. Remember where you described yourself as being? Okay, look, if you would, just before that house, on the same side where you described yourself as sitting. Sorry, just that. There we go. See that area of bushes?
Yes.
Did you ever see Mr. Valle over there?
No.
Because he was down some direction away from that by the car, according to your recollection, right?
Yes.
You never saw anybody spray Mr. Valle in the face with anything?
No.
You never saw a can of PD blaster being thrown?
No.
And you think that that lasted about 5 minutes down there, correct?
Yes, it was pretty cordial.
It was pretty cordial, but then you said it escalated.
It did.
What was the nature of the escalation?
I believe it was between Mr. Rich and Ty Da Silva. it turned into louder shouting. And then it almost looks like one's trying to calm another down. It looks like Tyler was trying to calm down Tyler Rich, who was pretty hot.
So now you can tell us that, in fact, you could identify two of those people that you saw down there as being Tyler Rich and Tyler DeSilva.
I know it was those two people.
How do you know Tyler Rich?
I know his name from social media, I'd say.
And Tyler Rich was one of the as many as 5 kids from Shelton High that you saw down there.
He was among them.
Could you identify any of the other kids that were down there from Shelton High?
I could not.
Did you see Mr. Valle interacting with Mr. Rich?
Maybe they were chatting, but I can't put a definite on that.
Okay, so you couldn't tell
But
us that you saw Mr. Valle chatting
Mr.
with
Valle,
Mr. Rich.
Mr. DeSilva, and Jack Snyder were together.
They were together. Which way was the vehicle facing at that point?
I can't recall which way.
Did you see brake lights or did you see headlights?
I don't know.
Were the doors open or closed?
I don't know.
You saw Mr. Valle, Mr. DeSilva, and Mr. Snyder all outside of the car together.
All 3 of them were outside the car.
Which side of the car were they on?
I can't tell you that.
Were they moving around from place to place?
I don't remember.
The vehicle stayed down further away from you in this stationary position, correct?
Yes.
Until at some point you saw 3 people get back into it and the vehicle drove back to 43 Laurel Glen Drive, right?
Yes, 3 individuals got in the car and drove back to Laurel Glen.
And you, Mackenzie, Demetrius, and Will were still on the curb in that same spot.
We were still on the curb.
Did you ever get up and move around to get closer to see what was going on down there?
When they went back,
No, when this was going on, what you've described down as the intersection with the Shelton High kids and the...
I can't recall. I believe we were.
Heard Mr. Valle say to Jack Snyder, "Where's your knife? Where the fuck is your knife?" Right?
That did happen.
That's the only thing that you heard while you were seeing this interaction go on, that you told us you could not see or hear what else was going on?
No, you actually asked. You didn't ask me when I heard about the knife.
Okay.
It was. I can't put an exact time frame on it, but it was when I was either in the car or just outside the car. But it happened before the 3 of them went back, and it happened after the 7 of us arrived initially on Laurel Glen.
Sometime between the time that you first got there and were surrounded
Yes.
and the time that they went back to the house,
Yes.
that's as close as you can tell us when you claim to have heard this.
Yes.
So you could have been in the vehicle when you heard this, or you could have been on the curb when you heard this.
I don't think I was on the curb because I saw with my eyes he was looking in the glove compartment and the center console.
Mr. Valle was seated in the back seat.
I don't know.
Well, sir, who was driving the car?
Jack Snyder.
And Tyler DeSilva was the front passenger, was he not?
He could have been. I don't remember.
But if Lido Valle was seated in the back seat, your recollection is that he was in the glove box looking for a knife.
If he happened to be in the back seat, I think it's within an arm's reach the center console and the glove compartment. But I do not know if he was in the shotgun seat or in the back.
This Honda Pilot, do you recall it being, the interior being somehow different than the typical car where the glove box is right in front of the passenger?
Can you repeat that?
Sure. Was there something different about this Honda Pilot that the glove box was not directly in front of the passenger?
I don't believe so. I believe it was a normal car.
But your recollection is that Mr. Valle was able to reach into the glove box and was tearing the whole place apart trying to get it.
The glove box and the center console were being rummaged through.
And you said that he was on edge and he was looking for the knife because he was upset from what happened to Jack Snyder's car, right?
I don't know exactly why he was looking for it, but he was searching for it.
Well, you told us he was in the glove box, he was on edge, he was upset from what had happened to Jack Snyder's car.
He was
Remember telling us
upset.
that?
He was upset.
Right. So this must have occurred after you had already gotten there and the car had been surrounded, right?
Sounds right.
Okay. So did it happen as the car was driving from in front of 43 Laurel Glen to down where you got out of the vehicle?
Sounds about right.
Okay, so now you can tell us, oh, actually, you know what, that is what happened. It was while we drove from 43 Laurel Glen down to 36.
No, that's you narrowing it down, and it sounds right.
It sounds right. Are you just agreeing with me to agree with me, or do you have a
No,
recollection?
he wouldn't be rummaging through a glove box if there was nothing going on. Like when we were just approaching, he would not be rummaging through a glove box.
Do you recall the vehicle moving while he was, as you put it, rummaging through the glove box?
Cannot recall.
Do you recall him leaning up into the glove box area?
I cannot recall.
But you recall him being in the glove box.
The glove box was opened, and the center console was opened.
You saw those things happen.
Yes.
Okay. Did you see Mr. Snyder pull the knife out of the console?
No.
Did you ever see Mr. Snyder with the knife?
No, I never saw a knife.
You never saw the knife.
Never saw a knife.
Of Mr. Snyder, Mr. De Silva, and Mr. Valle, who did you know best?
I can't tell you that. I don't know. They were all friends.
They were all friends?
Yes.
How long had you known Mr. Snyder?
Since freshman year.
How long had you known Mr. De Silva?
Freshman year.
And how long had you known Mr. Valle?
Freshman year.
All since freshman year?
Yes.
You were a sophomore at this point.
Yes.
So you'd only known them for about 2 school years?
Sounds right.
Never knew them before that?
No.
And you're certain that this occurred while you were in the vehicle?
I said in or around.
In or around?
Yes, I could have been just outside the vehicle, but I was able to see it.
So when you say in or around, you mean you might have been in the vehicle and you saw him going into the glove box, or you might have been outside the vehicle on the curb and you saw him go in the glove box?
No,
Okay.
I was not on the curb when this occurred.
You're sure of that now?
Yes.
What do you mean when you say around the vehicle?
Within 2 feet outside the car.
So you were outside the car possibly,
I said I could not recall whether I was inside or outside.
and you were within 2 feet. You couldn't tell us how far away that car was before, but now you're saying that when this happened, you were either in the car or you were outside of it, but only within 2 feet of it.
The knife, looking for the knife or a knife, did not happen when I was on the curb.
Well, when did it happen?
When I was either in the car, because I saw it with my own 2 eyes.
Either when you were in the car would imply that there's an or, and you've told us before, or when you were outside of the car, right?
possibly could have been once we drove away and we were all starting to get out of the car. Then I went and sat on the curb. But it was before I sat on the curb, before they went back, and it happened after we arrived.
So you can't be certain of where you were when this happened, is that fair to say?
I can be certain that I saw it with my 2 eyes.
You can't be certain of where you were when you saw it with your 2 eyes, is that fair to say?
I was within 2 feet of the car, if not in the car.
When you're down in front of that house, was the car only 2 feet away with you?
When we're where?
When you were down in front of the house where you described getting out on the curb, was the car only 2 feet away from you now?
When I was on the curb?
Yes.
I told you I couldn't put a number on the exact feet I was from the car, but it was further than 2 feet.
Further than 2 feet, right? So
Yes.
far away that you couldn't hear what was going on down there, you told us.
That's what I said, yes.
But you think that you could see the glove box rummaging going on?
Like I said before, it did not happen when I was on the curb. When I was on the curb, that's when Tyler Rich and everybody came over and they were talking. So it happened before I went and sat on the curb.
It happened either when you were in the car, right? Or when you were outside of the car, right?
Not on the curb, though.
But you can't tell us.
I
Which
said
of
I was
those two it
within
was?
2 feet.
And in fact, you told us you never saw a knife that night, right?
Never saw him.
But you heard about it afterwards, right?
What do you mean by that?
Well, you told us afterwards you came to learn that there was a claim of a knife being involved, right?
When the police contacted me, yes.
Ah, so the police told you, hey, there was a knife involved, right?
Objection is what the police told them.
Sustained.
You learned from the police that they thought there was a knife involved, right?
Objection.
Sustained.
That's when I got clarification.
Okay. And then you told us that the four of you, that being Mackenzie Traficante, Will Sinjwal, Demetrius Arfanos, you were talking amongst yourselves down there, right? The vehicle left.
Yes.
You could not see the car, but you could hear some yelling going on, correct?
Correct.
You heard a high-pitched scream, you told us, correct?
Correct.
And then the car returned, right?
It did.
And at that point, you were how far away from the vehicle?
We got up and approached the vehicle.
Okay. And so you were close enough that you could see that Tyler De Silva was bleeding, right?
Yes.
Bleeding a lot, you said, right?
Profusely.
Bruised everywhere, right?
Sounds right.
And I think you described him as being just about unconscious, right?
That's what I said.
And you said you could also see Mr. Valle?
I could see him. I
Where
was
was he?
not. I was not inspecting him
Where was he?
in the car.
Where?
I can't tell you exactly.
You don't know if he was in the passenger side or in the back seat?
I know Tyler De Silva was in the back seat.
Tyler De Silva was in the back seat.
Yes.
You don't know where you saw Mr. Valle?
No.
Could have been in the back seat?
Could have.
Could have been in the passenger seat?
He could have.
Could have been driving?
No.
No. Who was driving?
Jack Snyder.
The whole time, right?
I did not go down there and see what happened, but it's safe to assume so, yes.
You didn't see anybody else. And you said that Mr. Valle looked shocked, correct?
Yes.
You said he did not look as battered as Mr. De Silva,
I did say that.
but he looked battered.
He didn't look as bad as Mr. De Silva, but it also looks like he didn't, like nothing happened to him. Like he looked like he was in a fight.
Looked like he was in a fight. Looked like he'd been punched in the face.
I can't tell if he was punched in the face. I was not inspecting him like that.
When you say he looked like he'd been in a fight, what do you mean?
Shocked, exhausted, could have been bruising, but my attention was more towards Mr. De Silva.
You heard Mr. Valle say that he was on his back,
I did.
that he'd been on the
I
ground.
object, that's calls for hearsay, it's a late objection, but As to what the defendant said?
This is what Mr. De Silva said. It's
No, Your Honor, this is what Mr. Valle
Mr.
said.
Valle said.
It's hearsay.
It is hearsay.
This
Yes,
is a
it's
true statement of the defendants.
It's your client's statement. It's not opposition. I'll sustain the objection based on the hearsay.
As to the